Every single business owner, company executive, or manager wants a ton of clients. But the question is, how do you identify your ideal client? In today's video, I will be talking about that big question. My name is Olivia. I'm an accountant and the owner of Profits and Books Accounting and Bookkeeping Services. Thank you so much for watching. We all dream of having a ton of clients, but do you know what your ideal client looks like? And how do you identify whether a client is right for you? Right. So the first question you need to ask is, how do you feel when you are with your clients? Trust your gut. Because when you feel uncomfortable with any client, it means that there is trouble ahead. Your instincts are much wiser and know much more than what you give yourself credit for. It might sound crazy, but the most successful people, the first thing they will say to you is trust your gut. Because it's normally a warning sign that this business relationship is heading for trouble. That's number one. Number two, do you have a niche market? You know, when I started out, I made the mistake of saying, no, any industry will do. It's absolutely fine. As long as I can get a client, I will be happy. Don't do that. I invited so many cheapskates with not having a clear definition of the industry that I want to target, or even if you don't want to be industry specific, but what is the income or the turnover that you want your clients to have before you would consider them? This must be clear, because if you don't do that, you will take on just any client without even asking yourself, what are you signing up for? The next thing you need to ask yourself is, what are the needs of your client, and can you provide in those needs? Sometimes, in order for you to grow and to learn, you have to say yes for something that you don't know much about. But you must be willing to reach out to other people in the industry, other experts, and say, look, this is the dilemma that I have. Can you guide me on how to help my client with this? Also know your limitations, because if something is beyond you, it's beyond you. Then you have to say, look, no, this I cannot help you with. I would rather refer you to someone else. Then in terms of software, this is what I have to say about many South African businesses. They do not use this software. So be prepared as a bookkeeper, as an accountant, that many of your clients will not be tech savvy. Ask yourself if you are willing to take their hand through the process to guide them on the basic bookkeeping skills, on just how to load an invoice, how to check their suppliers, how to check their payments. So this is also one of the things that you have to take into consideration when you are looking for clients. You also have to understand that with your first client, you will make so many mistakes. You will get it wrong on so many levels, but understand that the first client is there for you to learn. Also consider the values that you have. What is important for you as a person? Because what is important to you as a person, it will flow over to your business, and you want to have clients where they are a good fit for you in terms of that you have the same values, you have the same principles in terms of making business. Look, if you are a crook and you're looking for other crooks, then your relationship might work or it might not work out. But if honesty, integrity, transparency, honoring your word, delivering what you promised, if those things are important to you, then you would want to find a client who support the same values. It might seem like a little thing, but believe me, if you are dealing with a dishonest person and you are someone who's open and transparent, it becomes a huge frustration. Another thing, communication is key. Let me say that again. Communicate. Communicate. You will find that many business owners, they don't communicate, not because they ignore you or they disregard you, but because they've got so many things going on in their own business that they can't always respond to your emails or respond to your messages. So from your side as the bookkeeper, as the accountant, make sure that the communication channels are always open. Make sure that you update your client, and that will build their relationship, because your client might not respond to all the communication, but they will tell others to say, you know what, my bookkeeper, my accountant, she keeps me updated on everything that's going on with my accounting, even if I don't understand a thing. Identify, also make sure in terms of your client, set boundaries. Hey, if there are no boundaries, you will pay the price for not setting boundaries. You don't have to be rigid when you are a business person, but there must be boundaries. Your client cannot call you on a Sunday and demand information. You have to put the boundaries in very first. Your time must be precious. The service that you deliver must be clear and precise. If you are there for only monthly bookkeeping services and suddenly your clients say, oh, I need payroll, I need help with my taxes, you need to charge them for that. That is how you set boundaries. You can be friendly, but you must also be professional. That is in terms of setting boundaries. Also, when it comes to your ideal client, deliver quality work, because you want them to come back, but you also want them to tell others about you. So deliver quality work. And you deliver quality work by knowing what you know and acknowledging what you don't know, but also being willing to get the knowledge, to ask, to do the research, to read up, to go and visit the website, to ask people, like, I'm not sure about this. Can you help me? The kind of client you don't want, because now you need to identify the right client for you. And you have to remember, as much as you need the client, they need you. It's a two-way street. No one has the upper hand. And do not allow your client to treat you as if you are their employee. When you are running a business, you have to make it clear with every opportunity, without being arrogant, without being rude. You have to make it clear, I am not your employee. I am your service provider. And these are my rules. Like I've said, you don't have to be rigid, but you must have clear boundaries. Also, make sure that the information, the key information, you have it available, so that when your client needs a monthly report of April and you are in July, you mustn't still sit and work and calculate the monthly report. It must be available. Keep your work up to date. That is important in keeping a client, so that when they look for information, you already have it available. That is key. To come back to the client that you don't want. You do not want a client who pays you late. You do not want a client who does not communicate. You do not want a client who treats you like an employee, who disrespects you, who pay you when they feel they want to pay you. You have to beg them for payment. You have to beg them for the money. You have to remind them of what you have done. No, fire that client. So, how do you identify the right client? By asking specific questions. And like I've said, trust your gut. When I get a phone call from any potential client, when they call me and say, we are looking for a bookkeeper, or we are looking for an accountant, the immediate feeling I get when I hear that person's voice will tell me yes or no. If my gut says no, I do not take that client. Don't take a client out of desperation. Don't take a client because you think, if I don't take this client, no one else would want to hire me. Listen to your gut. When you take a client on, you have to be specific about why you're taking this client, what service you are providing, and what are their attitudes. Because at the end of the day, if you have a problem client, it will consume you, it will eat you, it will frustrate you, and it will anger you, and you will have no joy. You will end up hating your job because of one difficult client. So I will be doing more videos on how to identify a client. This is just to get you thinking on what do you need from a client, what services do you offer, and how do you identify the one that's right for you? So if you've liked the video, please like, share, subscribe, and leave the comments below. I would love to hear from you.